Hey guys, today we're going to figure out which slabs are the strongest. Now, there's definitely a better way to test this, but there's some ways you can test it without having to break the slabs. I want to make this video clear, concise, and to the point, so let's get into it. Alright guys, so in front of me I have this scale, and I have a slab from each of the 4 major grading companies. We have a PSA slab, we have a Beckett slab, we have a CGC, and we have a tag slab. First test is going to be the weighing test. Okay, so we are at 0 right now, and we are going to record which each of these weighs the most. Weight is definitely important in determining quality, and right now we have it on milliliters. Let's do grams. Okay, so the PSA slab, we have, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm being honest here, a 42 gram, and it jumped up to 43. So I'm going to put up 42 to 43 for the PSA. Then the next one is going to be the big boy. It's going to be the Beckett slab that we have. This is my only Beckett slab currently. I've had a few. Actually, you know what? I have another one. All right, that one is definitely going to come in at the heaviest. Now, the Beckett slab, which I predicted would be the heaviest, judging it is the biggest. Okay. Next, we're going to weigh the CGC slab. Okay, sorry that the camera angle isn't perfect. It's a very amateur-made video. I'm just trying to get a point across. Okay, the CGC, heavier than the PSA by a long shot. Now, the tag slab. The tag slab weighs... You're lying. Do I need to tear this? The tag slab weighs 63 grams. So right off the bat, we already kind of figure out that tags slabs. Maybe I need to let me re-weigh the PSA slab. I don't believe it. Wow, I got 38 on that one. This scale sucks. All right, 0. Okay, 44. Okay, I get a different one each time. I'm sorry that this scale is not very consistent. 39? Wow. But it does tell us a story that is true regardless of how accurate the scale is. The CGC still weighs 56. The PSA weighs 44. The Beckett, damn, it weighs 72 on that one. That's 6 grams more than it weighed, 71. And then the tag weighs 65. So, all in all, we know that this is the order of weight. And weight doesn't necessarily determine structural integrity. Oh, weight doesn't exactly determine structural integrity, but the fact that the tag slab not only outweighs the CGC, but the PSA slab by nearly 20 grams is something of note. Especially because I do consider Beckett slabs to be the strongest and hardest to break, and it is only a few grams heavier than this tag. Now, we're going to do a test that's probably going to be considered subjective, but I don't care. I'm doing this for my own YouTube channel, and I don't mind being honest about it. So, I'm going to feel each of these slabs and kind of do a little bit of a bend test on them, just to kind of see, you know, what we're getting into. So, this one doesn't give at all. I mean, I can bend it a little bit, and I could, like, if I really wanted to put my pressure right here, I could definitely break this. Not like fully, probably not get the card out, but definitely crack it and damage it. I do believe, like, the way that this one's built, how thick it is easily the strongest slab. And I don't think there's many people who argue that this is not the strongest slab. I'm pretty sure it's pretty much universally brought in. Now, I'm going to go to the CGC now, because tag is really the one we're doing this video for. I just got a huge grading return. Now, this CGC slab is very sturdy. I knew that these slabs were pretty good, but this definitely gives much more than the tag slab. Now, it's not as thick, which is probably why it gives. And yeah, I don't think this slab has any problem with getting broken. Maybe if it's dropped from a very high distance, it could, crack. I'm not really sure, but overall, the goal is to grade the card. You're not going to send this card through World War III. You should never crack a CGC slab accidentally unless something pretty wild happens, truthfully. Now, I'm going to go over to the PSA slab. Now, this is the lightest slab of all of the ones in there. And I'm not going to lie, guys. Look at this. I mean, I'm not putting much pressure on it at all. Okay, I promise. I know it's hard to believe me, but this one gives much more than the CGC, much more than the Beckett. If I had to pick one card to break out of this as fast as possible so far, because I haven't touched the tag yet, but if I had to break one card out of this, it's definitely this PSA slab, which I don't really care. Like I said, you should never put this through a wartime scenario. This is a perfectly fine slab. It's sturdy enough to hold my cards, and I'm going to continue grading through PSA because they make good quality slabs. It's not the prettiest. Objectively, I think it's the least, the worst looking of the four, but that's just my personal opinion, and there's a lot of PSA boys that will say that PSA is the prettiest by far. Now, onto the tag. Now, this one is very heavy. It does not feel like a cheap slab at all. Now, I don't know if they've changed something. I want to say I've seen somebody on Reddit say that they have addressed their slabs, and I just got this back the other day. So if if somebody's slab was to be reinforced after their change, it's probably going to be this order because I just got it back June 13th. So if I'm being honest, guys, it gives, and I even heard a little crack there when I did it, but it's so much sturdier than the PSA slab. Like, I'll give it to you. So does the CGC. I don't know which one gives more. I think this one's a little bit thicker, which makes sense on why it's heavier and why it gives a little bit less. But it feels amazing. It does not feel cheap. It does not feel like I can just break it with one hand. I could probably break this with one hand, but let me tell you something. I could break this one with one hand too. I mean, look at this, guys. Look, one hand. Look at that. Look at that bend. I'm not even putting that much pressure on it. I could just snap that. So the point of this video wasn't to point out that PSA was inferior to any of these grading companies. My point was to address the fact that people have come out and said tag slabs are cheap, they feel cheap, and they're easily broken. And let me tell you something. These are almost as heavy as Beckett slabs, and they're thicker than not only CGC, but they're thicker than PSA by a large margin. And the thing is the thicker the card is, the harder it is to break. I mean, that's just kind of basic physics, I think. But, like, regardless, I do not understand, especially in the comparison for these two grading companies, why people say this one is cheaper. Well, I do. It's just not the reason. I have two schools of thought. The first school is tag slabs were cheap and easy to break, and they fixed the problem. That's the first school of thought. It was, and now it's not. The second school of thought is the PSA boys that have vast PSA collections are very afraid that tag is gaining traction because of their QR codes and their dig reports, as well as their presentation and overall just how the slab looks, in my opinion, looks much better than a PSA slab. But my only guess is that it is some sort of a propaganda movement against tag just to say, oh, their slabs are weak and cheap, to discredit them, and it worked. I mean, if you look anywhere online about tag, you will see people talking about how these slabs are supposedly very weak and cheap. And like I said, maybe it was, and maybe they fixed it, which now it shouldn't be a problem at all. Or maybe some people who are hundreds of thousands of dollars invested into the company of professional sports authenticators. But overall, guys, you don't have to believe me, but tag slabs, they are no longer cheap, weak, or easy to break.
The three words I would describe you as is aggressive, hostile, and definitely difficult.
If I had to pick one of these slabs to break to save the life of my entire family, I would pick this every day till Sunday. And this one wouldn't even be my second option. This CGC slab feels easier to break than this one. Not only is it thinner, but it's also lighter. And I think that this is the best way I could possibly do it. Now, I could do a break test. I could go really in depth here. I don't really need to break my slabs in order to prove this. It's very, very obvious by just handling them that this slab is easily the weakest slab. This is just my personal opinion. I invite people to do the same test with a tag slab that's been graded after, you know, June, presumably. I have no idea if they changed it at all, or if this happened months ago. I'm not really sure, guys. I didn't do enough research on the topic, but I do know that as of right now, every slab that I got from Tag is stronger than every slab that I've got from PSA. And I'd be willing to bet $1,000 on it if anybody wants to take me up on it. Just let me know in the comments below, and I'm willing to bring a few of my Tag 9s and some of my PSA 9s for a test. Thank you guys for watching so much. This was just a fun video I had an idea of because of a recent Reddit post I made and about Tag and all the comments that I was getting on it. A lot good, a lot bad. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something. But thank you guys so much for watching the video, and let me know what you guys think. Do you think my test was good enough? I don't know if you could tell, but honestly, I just think I proved to myself at least that PSA slabs are the weakest slabs out of the big four. And people might not like that, but at the end of the day, the only drawback I saw from people talking negatively about Tag was how weak their slabs are. So to get them in front of me and prove that Tag not only isn't the weakest, but it's not even the second weakest slab was pretty eye-opening for me. If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments, and leave your thoughts too. Have a good one, guys.